I would not think of the world while I am praying. I just remember my Lord. May Allah be well pleased with Amr ibn Abdullah. To be filled with arrows is more beloved to me than thinking about the world in the salah. He used to pray in a mosque in Misr, in Egypt, and one of the columns of the masjid fell, and it created a great crash that people in the marketplace heard it. When he finished the salah, he said, "Why is there this crowd? But there's all these people and an alarm." They said, "Where were you? Where did you just come from?" He said, I've been in the masjid." He said, "You're in the masjid, you didn't hear it? We were in the marketplace and we heard it." He said, I didn't notice. I was praying. When the column fell and made this great crash, he wasn't aware of any of that. He was more concerned with the great matter that was before him, something that was greater and more exalted. May Allah be well pleased with him. So enter into the marketplace of the people of reverential awe. In other words, take from their states. Habib Hamid bin Umar Hamid, he used to pray in one of the masjids here. And then the shaitan incited between two people and they started fighting. And even blood was shed in the fight. He finished his prayer and he came out and he found that there was blood that had spilled in front of the masjid. He said, "Where did this blood come from?" He said he didn't hear about this huge ruckus and people fighting, that all the people from the marketplace came. So where were you? He said, "I didn't notice because I was praying." Because he was praying, he didn't hear anything. La ilaha illallah. Have we prayed a prayer like this prayer? Even once? What year are we going to become people of khushu', of reverential awe? One of the Salihin was asked, "Do you ever think about anything in the prayer?" He said, "Is there anything more beloved to me than the prayer in order for it to occupy me? Is there anything more beloved to me than the prayer, that it would occupy my thoughts? It is the coolness of my eye, just like the Prophet Muhammad was the coolness of his eyes." Sayyidina Ammar ibn Yasir radiallahu anhu, he prayed a very brief prayer. And they asked him, "Why did you pray a short prayer?" He said, "I surpassed and exceeded the whisperings of the shaitan." In other words, he had full presence and he made it short purposefully. And Sayyidina Ammar ibn Yasir is one of the Sahaba who was tortured in Mecca, and his mother and father were killed in the way of Allah. And then he migrated. And he was one of the first to migrate. And he got there, and he was one of the people building the Prophet ﷺ's masjid in Medina. And he would carry the rocks. And the Prophet ﷺ saw him and he loved him. He said, "You're carrying 2 rocks, Ammar?" He said, "O Messenger of Allah, your other companions, they're carrying 1, but he was carrying 2. I said, And he was joking with the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, "Oh, they're going to kill me from some sort of maybe competition." And the Prophet ﷺ laughed. He said, "They're not going to kill you, but the group of people who are oppressive, they will kill you." And 30 years later, there was a group of people who actually were the ones who killed Sayyidina Ammar ibn Yasir. It was one of the prophecies of the Prophet ﷺ. La ilaha illallah. Sayyidina Ammar ibn Yasir, he said, "I wanted to surpass and exceed the forgetfulness that's whispered by the shaitan." Because the Prophet ﷺ said that people sometimes they don't have 1/3 or 1/4 or 1/5 or 1/10 of their prayer. They only have what portion they were aware and present in. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu said, when he was delivering a khutbah on the minbar, that there are some people whose hair goes entirely gray, and they've never completed one valid accepted prayer by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with having a presence of heart and reverential awe. And there are servants who perform one prostration, one sajda, in order to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if the sin that he incurred in that prostration was distributed to all the people in Medina, they would all be destroyed. That he makes prostration, but his heart is filled with desires and things that are not pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he is like one who is mocking. And that is so loathsome in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that if that sin was distributed between the people of Medina, they would all be destroyed. Where are you going to go if you don't have good manners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So we ask Allah for good manners so that we can attain the high and lofty degrees. As for just making movements in the prayer while being heedless, that has no benefit. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His enabling grace with excellence, that He grants us a great portion of enabling grace, and we are in the company of the highest companionship. Oh Allah, honor us with that. Imam al-Haddad said that they are a people, when the cover of night takes them, they do not sleep in their beds, but they enter into the mihrab and they are standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what excellent people they are in their ruku' and their sujood, and that they recite the Quran. They were steadfast upon the footprints and the steps of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they followed the path of the Prophet ﷺ step by step with the greatest grandfather, meaning the Sada of Al-Ba'alawi, and the grandfather being the Prophet ﷺ. After prayer, they would see people, all these people, no matter what position they were in prayer, they were in a state of reverential awe before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Sheikh Fadl came to him after he came back from Hajj, and he came from Shihr to Tarim, another city. He said, when he was looking at these people praying with this reverential awe, he said, I am so in awe of what I am seeing, I don't want to leave. قال له خرج بكلمك خارج خرج قال له هذا ما ينقطع طول الليل بتقعد لمتى طول الليل هذا. Apologies, there's some slight delay. طول الليل ما بينقطع هذا احسن لك روح تعلم بنتعشى الحين وخذ نصيبك. And then he said, come have some dinner and rest a little bit, and then come back to the masjid and take your portion. So the one who's telling the story said, I had a dinner and I came back, and the people were still standing there in sujood and standing in prayer and in ruku', and they were all adorned and covered in reverential awe. And he said, and I looked at them, and then more people came to the masjid. And then the mu'adhin called the adhan, and then I felt people's hearts tremble. And then one of the descendants of the Prophet ﷺ stepped forward to lead the prayer, and then after the prayer they established the classes and lessons, and that's how they were. That was the state of people in Tarim. And there are people like that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spread throughout the earth, east and west. That there are hearts that find a connection with the knower of the unseen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You find people in Sham, in Syria, in Egypt, in Morocco, in Libya, in Lebanon, of people who were people of reverential awe, people who took from this merchandise. May Allah's good pleasure be upon them. Oh Allah, we love them for your sake. Those that we know and those that we don't know, we love them for your sake. So by what you have graced them with and blessed them with, do not withhold the best of what you have for the worst of what we have, and give us a great portion of this good before we die, in this life before we die, Ya Rabb. Allah. We are seeking from you, O vast in generosity, whose treasure stores are filled. You are the one who gave them all of this good. You are the one who bestowed upon them these hearts. You granted them all of these gifts. By your right upon you and the secret between you and them, do not withhold from us this light and this secret, that we experience it and are granted it, and give us a great portion of it in our life before we die. Allah. And we ask this for you in the month of your beloved's birth, the Prophet ﷺ's birth. And that this month was nobled by his birth, and you made it a reminder that we mention him regularly, abundantly. So we ask you by his rank that you give us a portion of your gifts and your treasures and what you have granted these beloved servants of yours, O most merciful, O most merciful. Grant us that by your generosity and grace, in goodness and well-being. Allow us to drink from the pure drink that they had, the sweetest and fulfilling drink, while you are well pleased with us. Ya Rabbana, O Lord, O Lord, O Lord. And if what overtook their hearts filled just the tip of their finger, and it was distributed among people, it would have made all of their hearts among those who have reverential awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they would be connected to Him, that He made Himself known to them, so they came to know Him. And He cannot be imagined by the intellect. And He will give them in the hereafter what no eye has ever seen, no ear has ever heard, and never has crossed the human imagination. May Allah be well pleased and us through them. May He be pleased with us by them and through them. By this noble month, and by the one who you honored by being born in this month, we ask you, Ya Allah, that you gaze upon our hearts and the ummah of your beloved in the east and west, and that you give us and allow us to drink from the cup of having presence of heart and reverential awe of you. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, honor us with this gift and this grace and this generosity that is overpouring. Do not withhold the best of what you have due to the worst of what we have. We do not deserve that to begin with, but you are, it is befitting of you, O most generous. O most generous and most merciful. بسر الفاتحة إلى حضرة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة. استغفر الله. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.